there's a lot of water.
There is, yeah.
Better get that out of there actually.
Is there a bung in there or something?
Yeah, just on that other corner.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, my friend has picked up an old 8-wheel drive Argo. It's in pretty rough shape. The engine runs, but spent a lot of its time in salt water, so it does have some issues with bearings, chains and seals. So we're going to strip it down and replace all the worn out parts, try and get it back into decent shape, and we'll give it a test run. I've always wanted to have a go on one of these things, so it should be quite a fun project. So she's been used in the salt water, eh?
Oh yes.
Pretty rusty. Argo 8-wheel drive. So they're twin cylinder. Do you know what engine they are?
Hey.
It's like a lawnmower engine, aren't they? Kohler, okay. Kohler twin cylinder. Oh. Yeah. That boot just goes in.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that won't be too bad. Fuck, that's tight.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be that tight, are they?
I don't know. Never worked on one. This one is too. There's a tensioner down there. I guess you wind that out.
How do you work?
Oh, it's on a cam. I think there's a cam there.
Quantum. Enough to get it.
Yeah. That might be enough actually. Yep, that's working.
Alright.
Well done.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
Nice. Yep.
Right.
Yep, we're done. That one. Absolutely refuse.
Alright, that's off. That one's floating as well.
Oh, maybe they float.
Why would they need to float?
Surely not if it's got a grub screw.
No, that would be counterproductive, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be wearing out the edges of them.
Yeah, because if the whole lot moved and sat against that chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They must just come loose.
Yep.
Work them up properly.
Right. I'm going to put this axle stand under this.
Yep. Do we need to keep the chains separate, or are they all... I'll just leave it next to the shaft. Oh, that's floating as well.
Oh
They're all loose,
okay.
I think. Do they even tighten down? Yeah, they do. It's almost like you need a grub screw each side, really, yeah, to give it that extra pinch.
Yeah.
But
So I may have to put a bit of Loctite in that.
Yeah.
For the next.
So they're just going to... Yeah, that one's right out.
Yep. Is it go? Yep.
Tight. At least that one's tight. Yeah, I think that got it. It's always a puckering moment, eh? Wondering if it's going to strip or come out.
Yep, because yeah, they're not an easy thing to get out if you've got nothing to unscrew them.
No.
That's it. Got him. Lovely.
That shaft is just falling apart, eh? All the rough. It's the salt water. So we're going to put another shaft in there. Try and get this hub out now.
Right, the seals go.
That's got it. Yep. Alright. Oh, it's got like a cork gasket on there. And you can see how corroded that is on the outside. not bad. Yeah, it's pretty far gone. It's just a plate holding in, I reckon.
Oh, in between the two?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a double.
Yeah, well, it's just open that plate up and it should pop out.
Right, so there's
Yeah,
the cork.
you might get it there.
Oh.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
so there's another cork seal there, is there?
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
So
so
two.
we need two.
Just set that up like that.
Yeah.
Just so we remember. That's it's like that.
Cool. So
Oh,
we need one
right.
then.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. Alright, we've got all the parts here. All that was about $300, so it's not a cheap exercise. So we'll put all that in and see if we can get it running.
Okay. That's that one. There we go. Right. Yep.
Fair enough.
Right, so that's got to go there.
Yep, the ball in the hole.
Yep. Then that one. I done this with a tube of super glue one day. Went like that. It was all good. Put that on there, and it was even better. I cut the end, and then I gave it a squeeze. Right, and instead of it shooting out the end, it shot out of a little hole at the side and got me straight in the eye. This is during my apprenticeship. And after that, my nickname was Super Glue Kid. Didn't live it down for years.
Glue your eye shut.
I had to hold my eye open so I didn't glue the eyelids together.
Shit.
But they put this orange dye in,
Oh.
and then
Did you go to the hospital?
yeah, oh shit, yeah. Yeah, they put this orange dye, and then they just had to scrape
Shit.
it all the glue off.
Damn. On your eyes.
On the eyes. Yeah, always wear eye protection.
A laser blaster to get rid of the rust.
I'll be interested to see how that works.
Yeah, me too. I've looked them up, and like $50,000 for a basic model.
What?
So that was a few years ago. I think they come down to like 12 now for a basic. But they just vaporise the rust. Quite amazing. It'd be good to get hold of one.
Okay. Right. So we've got that lined up in that little hole.
finger in there.
No. There we go.
So over the...
Yep, that's good. Only wind's enough to get it over.
Probably be enough there.
Yep. Yep.
The kids stumbled on a wasp nest the other day.
Yeah.
Boy got 10 stings.
Wow.
Quite worried about it actually. Because we're down the sounds. I think we might have to get the chopper up.
Did you go into shock or?
No, well, a little bit. He came right pretty quick. We had the antihistamine, so just loaded him up with that.
Oh yeah.
Scary,
That's scary. Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Anything happens like that with the kids, you're freaking out.
Yep, it's all good.
In reverse? No play?
No, that's good enough. Sweet. Done.
Okay.
You think oil or grease?
I reckon grease. It may need a bit of, you know.
Or chain bar lube? No.
Yeah. Yeah, well that would definitely hold it on a bit better.
Yeah. There goes the how do wind seals pop out?
Well, this shouldn't go into that one at all. It only just does the outer, the housing.
But what's the point of that? Like, there must be a hole in the bearing for it to go in the bearing. All these grub screws were loose on the sprockets, so just going around tightening those up. That's better.
Look, it wants to just... Oh wow, look at the pressure that's on that now. There we go. Oh,
Something's moving. Got it?
Yep. Think so. Yep. Right, so we just got to spread that.
Yep.
Just like that.
I suppose so, yeah. Turns it.
Okay. Yep. Yep. There we go.
Got it. Now we need to do that middle one too, don't we?
Okay.
We might have to push it. Yep, take up the... you keep pressure on it, I'll
Yep.
push it down. Line up. Oh.
Pulling it a bit. Oh, no, don't lose it. Back.
Why isn't that going? I think the other side is too low, maybe.
There we go.
That's got them.
Oh, good.
It's got a wider section, so we'll start there, like that, and then just poke it in. Should be able to do it with a screwdriver now.
Okay.
Did I get it? It's got them,
That's it.
I think.
Yeah, well, that's looking alright.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Oh, don't drop it. Okay. Yep. Ah, there we go.
Done.
Woo.
That was easier.
Ready? Yep.
Nice one. Oh, that's perfect.
That's looking good.
Yep, so we'll put a bit of tension on that.
Yep. Oh, lovely.
Nice one.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Feeling better.
Yep.
It's easier already. Oh, yep, just coming out. Good.
Which one's it? Out of the seal?
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
that's it. Good.
Nice.
Sweet. Alright, so we've greased all the hubs, oiled the chains, got those new bearings in. Now we just have to raise this engine up to adjust these chains. They're a bit loose, so I think we just have to loosen that off and undo those adjusting bolts. That should lift the whole unit up and tighten the chains. And also that belt which is slipping, so I'll do that now. Must be on a pivot at the front, so yeah, just loosen that and raise these bolts.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. Guessing we could try it anyway.
Yes, because it's got a gap in between there and there.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty loose.
Yep, I can see it moving.
Alright, that one. Yeah, that moved.
Probably wouldn't go any further. It's quite tight. There we go. Oh, it's got an inside one as well.
It's true, yes. Flash. That looks pretty good actually.
It does.
That's good.
It's got oil.
Yep.
It's pretty full. Whoa!
Yeah, alright. He always likes to be in on the missions. Alright, or not.
Goes out. Belt doesn't seem to be slipping anyway.
No. Well, this will be a test.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do an Austin Powers.
Yes. Oh, it works okay on land. Let's take it in the sea and see what it does.
Will it float?
Oh yeah.
That sat in there like that,
Oh right.
and it went on an angle.
Yeah.
And then, but look, you know, like, so I've just fabricated it to exactly the same,
Yeah. Cool.
but just in thicker steel.
Yeah, it's a bit heavier.
Yeah, so that was all rusted in there, so I'm making another one.
Yep.
It'll sit in, but
Okay.
that'll just sit in. Oh, it's a bit rusty. And then the pin will still go through both,
Right.
and then of course that will have a plate there,
Yeah. Right. So it's
and then the
just
piece
outside.
running up there to stabilise it all.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Back higher.
Just in case. Okay, so that's full Coast Guard, eh?
Yep. Paid my fees, so we should be getting a free one. Nice.